Positive Tuesday today. Excuse me, August 4th, 2020. I'm Ben Dryden. You're watching DrydenWire Live. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald will be joining me in about 30 seconds for another episode of Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy is presented by Embrace. Embrace is the leading voice in comprehensive advocacy services provider for survivors of domestic and sexual violence in the four-county service area of Barron, Washburn, Rusk, and Price counties. Embrace provides unwavering support to survivors. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it's not your fault. Embrace is here to help. For free confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. Thank you to my guest yesterday, Shell Lake Police Chief Dave Wilson. A recording of that and all of our other shows are on our website, DrydenWire.com, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel. Just search DrydenWire on YouTube. This Thursday, August 6th, is Spooner Health CEO and local health expert, Mr. Mike Schaefer, will be my guest on a special COVID-19 episode of DrydenWire Live. But today, once again, back for another go, Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. Fitzy, good morning.
Morning. Just doing my makeup. You guys
nice.
said yesterday.
Shoot, hold on a second. You're in a little bubble on the screen. I don't know what I did.
Do I still
there
look
we
good?
go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you look good. Oh, you caught that part yesterday about the makeup, huh?
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah. I can make fun of Wilson, but I won't. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and he's a good sport about it, too. I like Dave a lot. And, of course, since he saved Dad's life.
Yeah, I know. He's a one-up on me all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Little thing like that, and then it goes. What's going on?
Boy, I'm having some issues with our Skype stuff right here. Everything is really, really jacked up. Hold on one second. I'm going to see if I can fix some of this. Okay, I don't know. Well, we're just gonna give her. Okay, so what's happened? What's been happening with you in the last week since the last time we talked?
Oh, not much has been going on. It's been pretty quiet, and that's what we like to be able to talk about. And have no crime, no press releases. It's been a pretty great week.
Yeah. So I remember talking to Dave yesterday about that. Like with meth and the drugs and the things that are happening in the community, normal crime stuff with COVID and is the impacts that it may be having. And I wanted to touch on that. I was going to do a little bit later, but we might as well just get to it right now. How has that been impacting Barron County in terms of a crime from a law enforcement standpoint? Yeah,
well, I think people were staying home. I mean, during the first few months of it really dropped off, and then it kind of picked back up when the governor's order got changed and things opened back up. It kind of peaked again. We had, more people traveling, more people driving. But it slows down here again. And I think it's because, we had a spike here in Barron County. And I think people were like, I don't want COVID, so I'm just going to stay home. I'm just going to relax and hang out and, be with my family or whatever it is, or close relatives or whatever. But I mean, it's still busy out there, but we're not seeing the crime. Our guys are out patrolling still. We're just not seeing the burglaries, which is a good thing. We're not seeing the OWIs, which is a good thing. Once or here or there, but nothing, not way down, but not way up either. It's just pretty steady from a crime standpoint. We're very happy with that. And, more people are home, more people are working from home. So there's less chance to, break into the neighbor's house because the neighbor's home now, maybe working from home. So I think that's going to change crime a little bit when people are working at home and kids are home and there isn't as much travel going on and people are staying home on weekends and doing things locally, on our lakes. Our lakes are still really busy. Our trails, our ATV and UTV trail are still really busy. So we're very happy with everything that's going on. And, we haven't had any major, knock on wood, major crashes. I know Polk had a double fatality, last week. And so those are tough. They take a lot of time and effort, and, hearts go out to those guys. They're first responders, they're ambulance people, and the victims, obviously victims' families on to something like that.
Well, we have just kind of some notes written down. So today, if anyone has any questions about any topic, Well, screw it, any topic, I don't care. We're not that picky. It doesn't have to be intelligent questions. But there is one question already, which is good because we want to kind of get to this, is from Diane. Any schools in Barron County not opening in person that you're aware of?
No, I think all of our superintendents, from what I've been briefed on, are all trying to do the same type of plan so that everybody in Barron County is doing the same thing. And all of our schools right now, the plan, and obviously it can change, are going to open on a 5 day a week basis or a minimum of 4. But right now, I've been told that all of them are, I think, are 5. And if you attend a different school district, you may know more than I. I'm a Rice Lake. My kids go to Rice Lake, or one kid graduated, so I have one at Rice Lake, and so our plan is to go 5 days a week.
Yesterday when I was talking to Dave, we were talking about superintendents and having to make that decision of, that responsibility of if you go back to an in-person and there's an outbreak and it kind of leads to or it's found that it could be connected to that school, and if there was a death, then what kind of burden that would have to be on that superintendent, and vice versa, the mental health aspect of people, that if it was a remote learning only, that there are some mental health things. And actually, without getting any details, certainly, and this is stuff we usually don't touch on, but I noticed in your call logs over the last 12 hours, so from 6 last night to 6 this morning, there were 3 different calls regarding suicides.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those mental health concerns. Now, I have no idea if those things are connected to COVID or if it was just, I don't know. I don't usually go through the call logs very often. I was just up early and, nothing else to do. Are you seeing a lot of more or an uptick in suicidal, the calls that you're getting because of the not safe at home, but the mask mandate and COVID and everyone staying at home?
I don't want to say there was an uptick. It's a, excuse me, there's a concern about it. No, I don't know. Last night, I don't know why the 3 calls happened, and what we have is we have a process that if you feel suicidal or hurting yourself or hurting others, we have a crisis line we call. They either set up a safety plan or we do emergency detention. I think only one of those 3 calls ended up in emergency detention. A lot of times it's just someone needs somebody to talk to, whether they're going through something in their own life, lost a job, broke up, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, just bad things happen in people's lives and it sucks, and we need to be there to support each other. And that's what it's about. And that's what our crisis line helps us with. And it doesn't mean that you call the police for a crisis call that we're going to do a mental health commitment, you're going to end up in a hospital. We do, most of the time, they do not end up in that. It's only when you can't have a safety plan, no one's around to, stay with you or help you, or, talking just didn't help the problem and you need to have some more professional help, and we'll get you that help. And so only one of those 3 calls ended up in a true crisis call where we have to do more work beyond the safety plan. And what happens now is that safety plan then gets followed up by our human services department today. So they'll receive a call from a human services worker to even do more follow-up on those calls. So that report's being typed as we speak. It gets sent over to DHS. They screen that right away, and then it gets a DHS worker will call. So not only does our DHS and public health have that going on, they follow up on all of our juveniles and all of our mental health commitments on a daily basis. So if we have contact with a juvenile that maybe has some order, some protections, maybe it's a juvenile that was out past his curfew, they follow up on that the next day. We lock a lot of people up, things like that. So our DHS staff is top-notch in Barron County and all of Northwest Wisconsin. They've worked really close together. Washburn, Polk, Burnett, Rusk, they all work really close together, and we have a good team of people beyond law enforcement that do a lot of work.
I saw that the Barron County District Attorney had put out a press release that we published last week sometime, that essentially they're not going to be prosecuting people that are violating the mask mandate.
Right.
So you were like of the 5 or 6 county area radius that we kind of cover. You're the only sheriff that didn't have to put out a presser. So that must have been nice. Okay. Talk to the DA. It's not my problem now.
Yeah. Well, and DA Wright did that because he's not trying to bog down the system, because right now there is some people that just want to go out and make a statement when it comes to mask, and they want the citation so they can fight it in court. And that's that's some of the problem with bogging down your court. There's also some legal things that he had going on that he didn't know if some of it was actual the legality of it, and so he didn't want to bog down the open up, cite a bunch of people, then realize it's, we can't cite under this because of whatever happens down the road, and then have to open those cases back up.
Yeah.
We're our courts are operating, and a lot of courts are operating at 50 to 80%, because of COVID. There's less people. You can't have. We are having a jury trial again. We were one of the first states to open our courts back up to a jury trial. They have our jurors spread out. They have COVID, all kinds of COVID precautions for the jurors, so we can still manage having a jury trial today. We were one of the first counties in the state to operate as a jury trial, so that's still going on. And so, the DA's office was concerned about the workload that would create, and so he put that press release out, which then took the heat off of local law enforcement. And as the sheriff's department, the sheriffs I know all came out and said this, and I think Chief Wilson did come out with a statement, and a couple other chiefs did, but really the sheriff's department, from a mask mandate standpoint, really doesn't affect sheriffs that much, because it's really the stores and businesses in a municipality that have the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really more of a police chief issue than it is a sheriff issue. But because of the constitutionality of it, and sheriffs being constitutional officers and all this other stuff that goes on with it, and some of it's political, and some of it's just
what?
Wear a mask.
It's not political.
With it. Yeah, most people are wearing masks though. I was in Quick Trip yesterday, and most people are wearing masks. And in fact, 100% of the people when I was in Quick Trip weren't wearing masks. And that's the first time since COVID that I saw that. And so people do want this to go away. They want COVID to end. They want our kids back in school. My phone is ringing, but that's okay. You're more important. And they want our kids back in school. So we want to continue getting rid of COVID. So people are doing what they can to help, and it's just that mandate versus asking somebody to do it, and that's where it becomes political, and we're not going to play that game. Safety is important here, and we want everybody to just be safe and do what you think is right for yourself. But a lot of the stores are mandating it, and that's what we wanted, and that's working out really well.
Are you getting, so when this started on Saturday, so in the last few days, are you getting a lot of calls that you're aware of people complaining?
No, actually, I don't know that we have any.
Nice.
We did meet yesterday with DHS on that issue, and they're trying to do some educational pieces. There are some businesses out there on their end that didn't want to do it, and they did some education with those businesses on why or what this does to protect your employees or to protect your customers. And so there's some education piece that I think is way more important than the enforcement piece. We've always been that way in Barron County, and so we've always taken that approach that education is better than enforcement, and we're standing by that during this, and I think it's going to come out better in the end for us in Barron County when it comes to masks.
Well, and it seems like the numbers, or the positive cases in Barron County, ever since the Seneca situation, whatever that was a week ago, they seem to be kind of, I don't want to jinx it or misstate it, but kind of leveling off, right? Just certainly we're not seeing that spike anymore. So that's a good sign. It seems whatever went through Seneca, it seems like it is what it is now, but it seems like it's kind of leveled off.
Yeah, we only had 19 cases over 3 days. I mean,
that's fantastic comparatively.
Right, but 17 people also got off, and hopefully by the end of this week, you're going to see some of those large numbers of drop off, because they'll be done being quarantined, and they'll be symptom free and all that other stuff that goes with COVID. So you could see a big drop in our numbers, from active cases. We're running about 160 active cases right now, but you could see, if we don't have a big spike, you could see a big spike in that, of about 100 people drop off by the end of the week or ish,
right, as
long as they are symptom free and all the things you have to do to get done with COVID. And I've never had to deal with it, so hopefully never have to, but there's certain things that people have to do to get off of our quarantine or to get off our list, if you want to call it that, on the list for public health, to make yourself safe for the community.
When you had that meeting with DHS yesterday, did they, or maybe you already know the answer to this, they've stopped doing their, I think, daily updates right now? Right. I think it's just weekly updates. Did they give any insight as to why?
Well, a lot of it was workload.
That's what I assumed.
It was just a huge workload. we were always preparing for that, big caseload, and then it kind of didn't ever happen. So we kind of started doing some other things, and then all this, and then everybody's like, oh, what do we do? We're like, well, let's just stop doing some of these things.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of negativity behind it, but it really comes down to workload. We talked about maybe upping that a little bit, maybe even having it a couple of times a week, so you might see it more than once a week, but right now we're putting out some pretty good graphs and charts, and we're going to start keying on the active case rather than the total case number, because that's more important, how many active cases we have versus the total cases. But we're into I think we're almost to 6,000 people tested in Barron County. So you can't look at 45,000. You have to look at the 6,000 people that are tested and base your total cases on that, because you've only tested 6,000, but that's a good number for Barron County, so we're happy with that. And obviously, if we wouldn't have had the big spike in Cumberland, I don't think we'd be that concerned. But it's a huge spike. I mean, over 150 cases in that Cumberland area over a week and a half time. You might see a slight. I know they tested a few more people today or yesterday, so there might be a little spike, but I'm not too concerned about it. They weren't too concerned about it, but obviously it can spike any day, just like it did up in Shell Lake and the Spooner area. It can spike in anything.
Yep. I know that when the outbreak in Barron happened, so I think what most people know is so the county health departments or the public health officers, they send their information to the Wisconsin DHS in the morning, like 7, 8, 9 in the morning. They have to have it in for the information up to that point. And then they compile all this stuff, put it together, and then at 2 o'clock, Wisconsin puts out their information of all that stuff compiled from that 7, 8, 9 deadline in the morning, and that's what we publish. Pardon me, that's what we publish on DrydenWire. But then there are cases that happen between 9 and 2 in the afternoon that day, so that's why there is that discrepancy. And it's I've tried to just go right to each public health department, either their Facebook page or contact them to try to get the most up-to-date one at 2 o'clock, but there was some inconsistency, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'd rather just be consistent, 2 o'clock, but we always encourage everyone, go to their Facebook page, go to their website, their county website. They all have a link on their sites for all of this stuff, but if you want the most up-to-date information, just go there. So, but it's nice to see that it's kind of leveling off in Barron.
Yeah, we're very excited about that, and hopefully it stays that way, and everybody just keeps wearing their mask and staying home, or social distancing, and it doesn't mean you can't not go out. I mean, it's just social distance, wear a mask, and wash your hands, and those are the three main things you can. I went to the grocery store last night. When I came home, I got out of the grocery store, I used hand sanitizer. When I got home, I washed my hands. I mean, those are the things you got to do to protect yourself, and it doesn't mean you can't go outside and enjoy the month of August here. It's been cool, but it's going to be nice this weekend, and it'll probably pick up again for traffic and crime and everything like that. But just go out and have a little fun and be safe and be smart, and that's all you need to do, and you can have fun in Barron County.
Sure. Sex trafficking, is that something that you're seeing an increase of, or is that it's always a problem, obviously,
Sure.
But is that something that's on your radar in Barron County? Because I'm kind of hearing that it may be just a little bit in northwest Wisconsin, and I was just wondering if that's anything that you're paying attention to in Barron.
Yeah, it depends on the definition of sex trafficking. Like, I don't think we have 14-year-old people standing on the street corner, being trafficked.
Right.
But what we've seen from a sex trafficking standpoint is maybe take pictures of my kids and I trade it for meth. And so that's still what we'd have for be sex trafficking. But, that's the kind of cases that we would see, more of a child porn case rather than a, trafficking an actual person.
Mm-hmm.
So more of an image thing versus a thing. And it's tied to methamphetamine, and it's tied to, if I don't have money to buy meth, what's the next thing I have? I have these pictures, I trade that for
Oh,
meth.
my goodness.
So, yeah, and that's where it becomes complicated and technical, because you have all these websites and you have, IPS addresses we have to trace, and we were working, we work with DCI and FBI on different cases, child porn cases or trafficking cases in our Human Services Department. Again, talked about Human Services, then they get they have all these victims that then they deal with on a human services side when it comes to that.
Well, we have a question here from Heidi Joe. Is there a lag with the weekend? Are tests actualized on Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, they are. In fact, I know somebody that got tested on a Friday, got the results on Saturday. They go into our system. There's just less people testing on the weekends.
Yeah.
You see the Wisconsin numbers are down. They can run. I saw one day last week we had like 18,000 tests, which is I think one of the highest testing days we've seen during COVID. And over the weekend I think it was 8,000. So you're talking about 10,000 people difference in Wisconsin, but the Barron County numbers are being calculated. How I understand it, and somebody from public health can jump in here or have on your show, but they, when a hospital gets a test, they put it right to the state, and the county gets that number from the state. So I think that numbers are as accurate as they can try to be within, depending on what time you look at it.
Yeah. Well, when I update them on our 2 o'clock numbers on Saturday and Sunday, and sure enough, Saturdays and Sundays, there's increases in each of the counties, just about each of the counties.
Right. Yep.
Here's a question. Let's see here. Would you... Oh, where'd it go? Look at his laws. Oh, there it is. Would you arrest someone if they were intentionally, knowingly trying to spread COVID, and what kind of penalty would they face?
We talked about that early on with our district attorney's office, and I can't remember off the top of my head what the crime would be. But yes, there is
That's a good question.
It's kind of the same way that officers get spit on. It's a projectile of bodily fluid. There's an actual statute for that. If you spit on an officer or spit on someone, there can be a bodily fluid statute. So yes, there's statutes that cover that, and definitely, in fact, even if you knowingly have COVID and you've been quarantined and you don't stay home, there's some legal ramifications that can happen to you. So when a DHS person quarantines you, you have to stay home because that's a public health safety risk. And so there's some things that can happen to that way when you get quarantined and you refuse to stay home. There's some legal things that has to happen, but then you would be violating a court order once the judge said you must stay home. Now we haven't, to my knowledge, haven't had to go that far, but we've been really close to some people deciding, I don't really want to stay home after public health has told me not to. That's the danger to this of the spread is we really need you to stay home if public health tells you to stay home.
Yeah, that was one thing that Dad, when he was a sheriff, said, you want to come at me, you want to swing at me, any of this stuff, want to fight, if you're a drunk idiot and they're trying to arrest you, he can deal with just about anything. But man, you spit on him, yeah, and no, that's he draws the line right there. There's so many things that you could spread and so many things that could happen by doing that. You still there?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry.
It's all right.
I was reading.
There's Mary May. Have you seen that one, Chris?
I'm looking at it.
I think the question in here, I can't put it on the screen. It's just too long, I think. How do you feel about tourists never coming back into your county because of the decision of the county to not do what it can to flatten the curve?
I think we've done what we could to flatten the curve. And you can't stop. And some of it isn't tourists. Some of it is people that own properties here. And a lot of people were, I own a second house in Cumberland. I live in Minnesota. I shouldn't be able to come here. Well, legally, there's no legal thing I can do to stop you to come to a residence that you own. Now and that includes a lot of our campgrounds, our seasonal campgrounds, and they own it. They pay taxes on those campgrounds. I used to own a camp or on a lake and a campground, and I had to pay property taxes on that property. So I was the owner of that property. And so, legally I can't keep you from coming to a residence that you own. So that was in the beginning, that was what went on. So I get what she's saying, but you can't keep people from the property they own.
Right. What are your deputies doing right now? And
nothing.
Right now? No, they're actually all on the other side of the camera right now, just making fun of
They're all making faces at the window.
Right. No. Oh, that'd be great. We should get them. Oh man.
They got stuff to do.
What is your kind of requirement for them as deputies when it comes to wearing a mask? And obviously, social distancing is a little difficult when you're arresting somebody. But what is your policy? What have you told them? What can people expect when they're out and about in Barron County and they see a deputy? What should they be seeing?
Yeah, if we go inside a residence or a business, we like them to wear their mask. It's hard to communicate with people. But for the most part, when we're inside of a place, now outside, you won't see them very rarely wear a mask because outside is different than inside. And that's what the governor's order states. It's inside. It's not, you don't have to wear a mask when you walk from the building to your car.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're in a public area of this building, of our sheriff's department, they have to have a mask on if they're out talking with someone. So just when we're inside buildings, you'll see more mask usage by our deputies. Traffic stops, sometimes, maybe not. It's officer preference when it comes to that, when it comes to a traffic stop, because it's just hard to communicate with a mask on, and to worry about that. But they're doing good. We haven't had very few COVID scares in our apartments, so we've been lucky that way. So
yeah. So just to be clear, if a deputy is pulled someone over on the side of the road and another vehicle is driving by and they see that the deputy doesn't have a mask on, they shouldn't be alarmed. It shouldn't be like, well, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. That's not the mandated part. That is not a direction or a policy of the sheriff's department. Uh-oh. Huh. There you are. You back?
Are you there?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm back now.
I don't know what happened.
Internet's
We're having a
bad.
whole bunch of issues here this morning. I don't know what's going on. Did you hear any of what I just said?
Something about I'm awesome. No.
Yeah, I think that was it. That's right. I wasn't paying attention to myself either, so I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah, one good question we do have on mask is conceal and carry in mask. I get that a couple times last week, especially when the mask mandate came in. And you can wear a mask and conceal and carry, or wear a mask and open and carry. Under the law, there's no mask requirement. Very similar to banks have a thing that says you can wear a mask into a bank. I mean, it's kind of funny to see that sign on a bank, but they may ask you to take it down to verify your identity. So those are rules that we did see that people are asking, can I open carry, conceal and carry, and wear a mask? And yes, you can do that under the law.
Yeah, that's a question that somebody asked last week on the show, and I was kind of made fun of it, and I guess that's a common question, and actually I never even thought about it before.
Yeah, and the same with wearing a mask into a bank, and I had never thought of it either.
Weird.
But it's new things that are working out.
Oh. Hey, so we should do something for, before you go, I wanted to ask you what we should do for Embrace coming up at some point. We should do some kind of a fundraiser thing. And I was thinking that I don't know what this fundraiser would look like. I don't know if it's like people could donate something, and whoever has donates the most or something, we could have them on the show with us. Or I don't know. Do you have any ideas? Or maybe we should just ask other people too if you have any ideas about something we could do to help Embrace. Maybe a little fundraiser, even if it isn't just financial part of it, just more recognition, get the word out about what they do and all the great stuff that they do at Embrace. Yeah, let us know, right?
Yeah, come up with and
there you go.
Brittany's on there. Brittany's typing from Embrace.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome, we are.
They are awesome, all of them.
Yeah, they are. But that comes back to being part of the community, and I'm not just the sheriff and answer laws. I'm part of the community, and fundraising has really taken a hit on a lot of nonprofits, and Embrace is one of those where it's taken a hit that they depend on for nonprofits. And both you and I now serve on the Embrace board, and we need to come up with ideas to support these nonprofits, whether it's Embrace or any nonprofit out there that people want to support. And we really appreciate all the businesses that have continued their support even during their financial issues or maybe a downtick in business. They've continued to support our youth sports and our Boys and Girls Club and our Embraces and the Benjamin House or whatever it is in your county. And again, we appreciate that. But yeah, we need some ideas out there from people. And there's Al Gavi just told me there's National Night Out. I got that on my list, Al, to talk about. There's a virtual National Night Out tonight to support the businesses of Turtle Lake, and Turtle Lake Police Department did a really cool event. We'll talk about that in a second. And very excited to be part of that with them. But yeah, we need some fundraiser ideas from people.
I just came up with one. A roast of Chris Fitzgerald.
A roast?
Yeah. Yeah, not like the food.
I like to eat. So. I'll eat a roast, I guess.
Yeah, fine. I mean, hey, it's for a good cause.
One on the cob, can we add that to with it?
All right, so tell me about National Night Out.
Yeah, Turtle Lake PD. Obviously, tonight would be National Night Out all across America, and National Night Out was canceled due to COVID. But Turtle Lake PD, who was one of our first National Night Outs, this was 11 or 12 years ago now. We had our first National Night Out in Turtle Lake. That's where we held it. It was a night for law enforcement to get out and just be with the community. And Chief Gabi at that time, we asked, and we actually hired Chris Cruzy. He was one of our first singers 12 years ago. I think we paid him $100, and I don't think he wanted anything. Chris Cruzy sang in our first National Night Out, and we had it, and it just turned out to be. And Turtle Lake has one of the largest. They get about 1,000 people in Turtle Lake to come out for National Night Out. It's huge. And Chief Gabi does a good thing. And obviously this year we couldn't have National Night Outs across the county, but Chief Gabi and his staff over there and his son Al put together. They're going to have a virtual National Night Out at 6 p.m. And what they did is they went out and supported everybody that supported them over the years, and they got some prizes donated. You had to go to these businesses and sign up, and it was kind of neat way to get people to go out to these businesses. And they're giving away some prizes tonight. They got some music, and I'm gonna go over there to be part of it. But National Night Out was a way to just get out to know your neighbors, to keep your community safe, and it's just. And law enforcement really needed it this year. Maybe not around here because we have such great support for law enforcement, but in these big cities, National Night Out would have been pretty big this year. Obviously with all the tension around law enforcement, National Night Out would have really helped and been really cool this year, I think. But everybody's taking the year off, and we're going to come back next year stronger than ever. But we hope that everybody tunes in tonight in Turtle Lake and watches a little National Night Out. And like I said, they got somebody singing music and just having a little fun, and it's just going to be a good time. But keep supporting your local businesses, your nonprofits. Those are the kind of things we need to have happen in our community. And let us know your ideas for a fundraiser, maybe for Embrace.
Yeah. Somebody did ask one more question, but just be real quick. Where do people watch that tonight?
On their Turtle Lake Facebook page, and I think we're going to share it on our Barron County Sheriff's Department Facebook page.
Got it.
But Turtle Lake Police Department Facebook page is where their National Night Out is going to happen. And just continue to. It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day too. That was my.
Oh, nice.
That's my fact of the day.
Nice.
Hey, so I'm going to get some chocolate chip cookies.
Attaboy. One more question here. If they can't enforce the mask because of Constitution, why can they force seatbelts?
Sure, and I think Dave answered that yesterday, and that's because that's a law. Mm-hmm. The mask is a mandate, and the seatbelt is a law. And so if the legislature pass a mask law, and it passes the legislature and the government, and the governor signs it, yes, then we would have to enforce that under a traffic ticket or OWI or seatbelt. Those are laws versus a mandate. That's the difference between them right now.
All right.
Good question.
What else do you have going on this week? Outside of the thing that's happening tonight, which everyone should go to, Turtle Lake Police Department Facebook page to watch that tonight. What else is going on?
I don't think there's a lot going on. What are you doing?
Nothing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really nothing.
I hope there's no COVID cases, and we'll just kind of go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I have been playing. I don't know if you watch. So I can't stand NASCAR just because it's just incredibly boring. Yeah. But Formula One racing, holy cow, that's legit. Have you ever watched that before?
A little bit. I like NASCAR better than Formula One.
That figures you would.
But I have been watching hockey and basketball. It's been nice to have sports on TV.
Yeah, it is a little nice. But I even went and got the because it's on every Sunday morning on ESPN, they do Formula One race, but I even got a game on PlayStation 4 with a steering wheel and the foot pedals and everything. So I'll probably do that. I don't know. Maybe a little Call of Duty. Season 5 comes out this week. But just video games. I can't go anywhere.
I'm gonna skip lawn mowing and mowing the grass and doing the dishes and laundry. I'm gonna NASCAR it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, except other games.
Right.
Maybe a challenge for everyone today. What about that? A Positive Tuesday challenge.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was Motivational Monday. We didn't do a press release. I put out a thing that said, you know what, let's just go out and do a good deed today. So Positive Tuesday.
We'll piggyback on that. Okay. Everyone, we encourage everyone on Facebook today. Comment to someone in a positive way, even if you don't agree with what they're saying. Try not to be sarcastic in your positiveness. Oh, you're real smart. But just comment, even if it's just one, and then you can go ahead and just be crazy as usual. But just comment something positive about one person. Reply to someone. It doesn't have to be on our DrydenWire page. It could be anywhere. And then put the hashtag Positive Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Let's just go out and make a difference in someone's life today. It's the little things that make a big difference.
Yeah.
It's the little things that make a big difference, and we got to keep doing those little things. And there's enough bad in the world. We can make a lot of good, and let's go out and create good. And we do that in Northwest Wisconsin. That's what's so fun about it.
I love it here.
We can do it, and we can make a difference here. We can't control the rest of the world, but we can control where we live, and let's go out and do that.
Positive Tuesday. Hashtag Positive Tuesday. I love it. I'm totally going to do that. I'm going to do it a whole bunch of times today. I'm going to go onto your page too, and I'm going to comment.
All right, I'll have to put something up there then, because we don't have anything to put up right now.
All right, thanks so much, Fitzy. Oh, by the way, next week, we can't do a show next Tuesday.
Oh, we can't?
No, because I guess that was on Wednesday. It can only do on Tuesday, and so you're getting bumped.
I'm sure I'm bumped by somebody important.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's Congressman Tom Tiffany. He's doing like a monthly show now, like the second Wednesday of every month, which that's fine. I mean, he's a congressman. We'd love to. But he can only do Tuesdays. So
maybe I'll do my own show on Tuesday, and then we'll see who gets better ratings.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of guests you have on. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon, huh?
All right, take care.
All right, cool. You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Embrace. If you or someone you know is experiencing intimate partner violence or sexual assault, it is not your fault. Embrace is here to help. For free confidential advocacy and support, head to embracewi.org. I'm Ben Dryden. I'll be back this Thursday, August 6th at 8:30 when Spooner Health CEO Mike Schaefer will be joining me for a chat. So until next time, stay safe, keep your social distance, and have a blessed day.